Somebody says, Michael, was an artificial sun China turned on? Actually, they've had that for the last, was it 17 years, I believe. And what they did was replicate the reaction in the sun. That's fusion, by the way. Well, just in case you don't know, I'm going to give you guys a brief before the world does. I'm going to give you guys a briefing on some real data concerning this UFO topic so you guys understand it. I'm going to do it one time, just one time only. I'm going to give that brief so you guys have an understanding of certain things like Roswell and what that was for. The Germans and what they actually did. Who really came over here and was a scientist over here, because I don't like some of the disinformation coming out. Now, here's what will happen. Let me go ahead and tell you. Once I give this briefing, people are going to hear this briefing. You guys will hear it. Some of you guys who are versed in the UFO topic and some of the professionals out there are not going to like it. But weeks later, months later, they'll start to say the exact same thing. All right? So it always happens that way. Always. Somebody says, can this affect the weather? What? The artificial... China did this for a power source, right? China needs a power source with the equivalency of the sun to power it up. And that has to go with this briefing I'm going to give you guys, because they need a proper power source for some of the things they've been finding. Also, some of you guys know where hidden spot is. Let me show you guys something. Maybe you're familiar with it. No, I'll tell you what. I dare not. I'm not going to do that by voice. I've just been advised not to do that by voice, so I won't. I have an image. I'm gonna have some images I want you guys to see. Maybe it'll open your mind a bit about some things, right? Because for the most part, people are a bit behind the power curve as far as what potentially can be out there. And I have to use that word potentially. What potentially can be out there. But all of it's going to become obvious very soon. Very soon. They want to power what they have in their lands. China is rich with archaeology, right? China is rich with some of the best artifacts in the world are in China, right? We kept peace with China for a long time. So did Russia, because we know they have some missing pieces to some archaeological finds that have been both in Russia, they have quite a bit, and here in the U.S. Globally, they are sharing some of the finds that they have in the poles of the earth. But there again, they still need a power source, which is probably why we have some very special vehicles that go from Earth to space to Earth, right? You guys already know what they are, but they are capable of space, going to Earth and space. They don't use rockets. They don't do that. It's so funny how we actually believe in what we see in Hollywood, and you're about to see the truth. And when people see the truth, they're not going to be able to process what they're seeing, because all their lives they've been taught that certain things are not possible, right? The truth is, just about every piece of everything you can imagine, as far as vehicles and space and weapons, it all has been created. The processes have been secured. They already did it, right? They do nothing. Their teams that do nothing but produce some high-tech things, and once they achieve it, they document it, right? The process of building it, everything else, and then they vault it. That's the way they do. They don't go into mass production. They vault it. Now, several of those vehicles they actively use every single day. Now, I'll say it again. One of the vehicles you guys are probably familiar with, some of you are, anyway. They're not ET. They're called observation platforms. That's what they're called. They range in size from a clipboard, right, to a football field. They are ours. And if you've ever looked up in the sky and you've seen possibly a blur, that's it, just a blur, no big deal. But you have that sensation that something was hovering over you or something like that, and you probably saw an observation platform, there's no way you're going to outsee it. There's no way you're going to just sneak and see it. No. They will always operate right outside your field of view. Plus, the human eye sees at a specific frequency, and all you have to do is counter that with flash vibrations, and a person can't see the object right in front of their face. And that's not, it's not Hollywood camouflage. That's real. You see it so many frames per second. If they go in between those frames, you can't see anything. How they do that is by division of 6. So not 4, not 2, but a division of 6. And they get the proper frequency, right, that you just cannot see. You just can't see. So there we are, right? But anyway, China has been building this thing for a long time. Listen, when it comes online, you're going to know about it, because China will, they will begin to combine the world in a very strange way. Already, China has, China's made a deal with Russia. China's made a deal with Iran. China's made a deal with Africa. China's made a deal with all these countries that we have. We are the controlling party for the resources and livelihood. China's made a deal with them. They have expanded their own economy. And the U.S., we might want to do something quickly, or we're going to get left behind. And what's happening, what you guys see, are what the many of the professionals, professors and all these think tanks called an actual paradigm shift. Not some supernatural paradigm shift, not talking about that, but America's been in charge of many things for a long time, right? And through policy, these other countries have been working around us. We have sanctions on quite a few countries, right? So that's our punishment for them. But they've been sidestepping those sanctions and operating in tandem, right, to build up their own economies, which have surpassed ours. So, you can only be king for so long, right? All kings are dethroned, period. So that's where we are. Now, but always remember this. You guys are Christians in America. I'm telling you right now, this country survives because of you. It's because of you. No matter what anybody says, God's grace is in this land for your sakes. That's why his grace is in this land. That's why we have not been, turned totally upside down yet. It's because of you. But I can give you this warning. If faith begins to wane, you're going to find that favor from the Lord won't be there, right? And we're going to see more and more threatening things come to America. In fact, we see that already in proportion, right? In proportion to a drop in people searching out faith-based things. In proportion to that, we've been seeing natural disasters in America. You guys know that. So at the same time, natural disasters are picking up. So are, especially online, these searches for faith-based things are beginning to dwindle. They're searching out more paranormal and UFO things than Christian things. And it was already not a big number, but even that number starting to dwindle. Many Christians are sadly, they search paranormal things for hours. They spend a lot of time watching documentaries and videos and this, that, and the other of supernatural phenomena, of these shows that I believe it's the Travel Channel puts out, right? I'm just saying Travel Channel because I see that's who I told you guys about. Was that 5 years ago, right? That they were going to come out with all these paranormal shows. You guys remember that? Told you what the contents of a notebook were. And before it ever came out, right? I warned you guys about that because it kind of hurt me to know that this was going to happen by way of cable television. Because I know that people are curious. I know people watch television regardless of what they say. But is highly influential. And so when I told you guys that, the year after, that's when all the shows began to come out, right? All of them. And it was a big list of shows. And they have an agenda. They're doing something with those shows, just in case you don't know. They're doing something with those shows. Okay? So, in regards to that, that's causing faith to a lot of people to doubt their faith. They're not operating, right, by way of faith. Even they did a search for those who meet online, who do prayers and things like that. They're just not doing it. And listen, just in case you don't know, there are every single minute statistics are pulled from the internet, right? And everybody who's registered with any free social media, they have a profile. It's not sold, but they can always tell if it's male or female, so on and so forth. They're put in certain demographics to see what they're all about, what they're doing. They don't care who the person is. They do care what the person does. And based on that, you can see it. There's a way also in Google, you can learn to do analytics, high-level searches within Google and find any and everything if you know how to, logically think about those things. And it is a true fact that people are searching ghosts and goblins more than they are for Christ, right? Now, it'd be one thing if that's the way it always was. But sadly, I'm talking about the Christians. They're the ones spending more time learning about man's methods in dealing with demonic entities and spirits than reading the Bible and getting it from Jesus Christ.